Hello everybody, this is Stephanie. I am so excited to be here with you this evening in my first ever live broadcast. So what that means is if there's any weird noises or animals suddenly run across the screen, the cat or the dog or even my child, we're just going to kind of roll with it tonight. But I am so excited to be with you here tonight to take a full hour flow to help kind of boost your immunity. And we're going to be taking a few of these live flows together during this time that we're at home. So I would love it if you would make sure that you receive notifications for these live streams. Hop on over to my YouTube channel, Yogi Stephanie, and make sure to subscribe. So join me on your mat wherever you're at, and let's get started. We're going to begin with the breath. We really need to just take a big collective breath together. Nerves are really shot right now. Emotions are high. And so we want to calm that system down, just taking a few moments. So coming to any kind of comfortable seated position, just beginning to breathe, maybe closing the eyes, coming into your body, taking a few deep breaths in through the nose, and out through the nose. Really controlling both the inhale and the exhale. Inhaling, filling up every single muscle, every single tendon, the lungs, the diaphragm, everything expands. And then exhale, softening all of those things. Couple more breaths here. Just really beginning to come into your body, into your breath. And then very gently kind of fluttering the eyelids back open. We're going to make our way to child's pose. Toes touching, knees apart. Reach your tailbone back towards your heels. Palms are going to reach either out in front of you or behind you, but taking a moment to ground down. You can ground down forehead to mat, or you might have a pillow or something you can place underneath your forehead, but just making it accessible to you. Spending another few moments here, breathing, but this time scanning your physical body and even your emotional body just to kind of see how you're doing. Noticing if anything feels a little talkative, so beginning at the crown of your head, looking down into the neck, into the shoulders, down the spine, into the hips, into the thighs and the hamstrings, the knees, the shins and calves, ankles and toes, and then back up to the arms, elbows, wrists, and fingers. You are always more than welcome to say no to anything that's being cued or doing your own thing. So this is not about keeping up with what's being cued, but it's really about coming into your own body and doing things that feel right for your body. On your next inhale, we're going to make our way up to tabletop. Wrists coming underneath the shoulders, knees come in underneath the hips, finding some movement between cat and cow. Inhale, drop your core, lift your hips, lift the crown of your head, back bend, cow. Exhale, spine reaches up towards the ceiling, press away from the mat, cat. Moving between these two shapes, inhaling to cow. Exhaling to cat, just beginning to warm up the body, warm up the spine. Last one. And then coming back to your neutral spine, transfer your weight to your left arm. Inhale your right arm up, little twist. So feeling this twist beginning to happen from the very base of the spine. It's not just the arm that's reaching to the right, but your entire torso is beginning to twist to the right. Then with your exhale, bend your left elbow, thread your right arm underneath. 2 more times. Inhale, right arm lifts. Exhale, bend and thread. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend and thread. This time, drop your right arm as you reach it as far as you can, dropping your shoulder, dropping your right ear. Left hand can stay underneath your shoulder. You can reach it above you. You can wrap it behind you towards your right hip. You can play around with all 3 and see how it feels. Realizing you don't always have to stay with a shape. If it feels better to come back to something else, you can do that. But breathing into the stretch of the right shoulder. Left hand comes back underneath your shoulder. Inhale, press up, right arm lifts. And exhale, right palm comes back down to the mat. Other side, inhale, left arm lifts. Exhale, bend your right elbow, thread the needle. 2 more, inhale, lift and twist. Exhale and thread. Inhale, lift. Exhale and thread. This time, reach your left arm as far as you can, dropping your left arm, left shoulder, left ear. Right hand can do something completely different or similar underneath your shoulder. You can reach it above you. You can wrap it behind you. Just noticing what this side is asking for. We're going for symmetry in the body. We're wanting to work out all those imbalances, but that's probably not where we're at, and that's okay. Taking different choices if need be. 1 more breath. Right hand comes back underneath your shoulder. Inhale, press up, left arm lifts. And exhale, left palm comes back down to the mat. 1 more time, toes touching, knees apart. Coming back to child's pose. Inhale, lengthen the arms, lengthen the spine, walk them out just a little bit further. And then on your exhale, both hands reach over to the right. Push your hips back to the left. Big side stretch to the left side body. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, walk your hands to the left. Push your hips back to the right. Big stretch to the right side body. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, melt in. Inhale, come up tabletop. Really finding some engagement in the shoulders. So not letting those pesky shoulders come up by the ears. Really pressing the palms down into the mat. Scapula, shoulder blades are spreading side to side. So feeling that engagement. Core begins to pull in. So you've got your arms engaged, your core engaged. Tuck your toes. Really take your time. With your next exhale, hips reach up and back, finding your first down dog. Find some movement. Don't worry about the shape at this point. Maybe you pedal the heels out. You wag the hips side to side. You can rock back and forth on the wrists. And then beginning to settle in. Can you draw that long line of energy up and not dump it down? So reaching, really pressing down the mat, reaching the hips up and back. If you feel anything that feels uncomfortable in the hamstrings or in the low back, you can soften the knees. Keeping belly button pulled into spine. Deep bend in your knees. Look up between your hands. Take your time. Walk your feet to the top of your mat. Don't worry about keeping the hands touched down to the mat. If you need to come up a little bit higher, that's okay. But pulling belly button into spine. Exhale, reach down through the crown, standing forward fold. We're going to hang out here for just a moment. Maybe you grab opposite elbows. Feeling gravity, pulling the arms down, taking a little bit more length in the torso. Maybe you rock side to side. Take out some of the tension from your head. Shake the head yes, shake it no. Finding your voice. You can say yes to things. You can say no to things. Arms are going to reach back down. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands slide up your legs. Gaze in line with your spine. Shoulders roll back. So you have this long line from crown to hip and hip to heel, and you're not curving through the spine. Exhale, reach back down through the crown of the head. Belly button pulls in. Inhale, reverse. Come all the way up. How tall can you get? And exhale, hands down through heart center. Keep moving with the breath. Inhale, lengthen, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, swan dive, or hands can go through heart center all the way back down, standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down. Deep bend in your knees, deep enough that you can plant both your hands. Step your feet back to the back of your mat. Shoulders coming over your wrist. Keep pressing down into your mat. Don't let the shoulders come up. With your exhale, knees come down to the mat. They are back behind your hips. If they've kind of snuck up and you've gone back to tabletop, walk them back. We're in plank. One more breath here. Then with your exhale, lower yourself down as slow as you can. Shoulders keep rolling back, elbows point back behind you. Grip your mat. Inhale, drag forward, lengthen your low back. Lift up, little cobra. Exhale, melt back down. Inhale, press up, tabletop. Curl your toes, hips up and back, down dog. Now, one thing you might have noticed is that every time I'm coming from tabletop to down dog, I am taking my hands from my plank position and sliding them back and then lifting to my down dog. And that just has to do with how tall I am. I have a lot of leg. And so my down dog, if my hands are back here, I can't really lift the hips up and back as much as I want to. So you can practice and see for your body type what's best. Wherever you are from tabletop, lifting to down dog, that's where the palms want to land. So everybody's going to be a little bit different depending on the length of your body. Deep bend in your knees, look up between your hands, make your way to the top of your mat. Exhale, reach down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down, belly button to spine. Inhale, reverse, come all the way up. And exhale, hands down through heart center. Keep moving with the breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bow from the waist all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down, deep bend in your knees, plant your hands, step your feet back, top of your plank. Shoulders coming over your wrist. With your exhale, knees come back down. Second option, you can bend your elbows, pause, chaturanga. You can give 3 push-ups if you really want to build up some heat, or just release all the way down. Inhale, drag forward, lift up. Low cobra, mid cobra, high cobra. Exhale, melt back down. Inhale, press up, tabletop. Curl your toes, hips up and back, down dog. Deep bend in your knees, look between your hands, step, hop, or float your feet to the top of your mat. Exhale, reach down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down. Belly button to spine, inhale, reverse, come all the way up. And exhale, hands down through heart center. Keep moving, it's okay if you're really warming up. Exhale, swan dive all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down, deep bend in your knees, plant your hands, step your feet back, top of your plank, shoulders over your wrist. You can go back to your knees, taking one of those first 2 options, or stay on your toes this time. You can lower down to the belly, pause, halfway chaturanga. You could add push-ups again if you'd like. Find your back bend, little high cobra, or flip to the tops of your feet, up dog. But wherever you've chosen to take your back bend, where are the shoulders? Are they up by the ears? Can you get them down and back, no matter where you're at? Press back, tabletop. Curl your toes, hips up and back, down dog. Now, as I said, with this flow, we're kind of giving a little boost to our immunity system. And with that, we're wanting to wring out some of the organs, so we're going to be taking some twists. You can always say no to this if any of this does not feel comfortable. Really pressing with your left palm until your right hand has room to kind of float. If you notice, if everything rocks to the left, can you re-engage inner thighs, core, pulling it in? We're taking a twisted down dog. Right hand's going to begin to walk back. It may just be a tiny bit. If you feel comfortable, maybe you reach for the back of your calf, your shin, your ankle. Find your connection if that feels comfortable. And then if you'd like to, with your exhale, find your twist, looking underneath your left armpit. Keep pressing away in the mat. Feel the whole left arm engaged. And release. Right palm comes back to its place. Beautiful. On your inhale, shift forward, top of your plank. We're holding here for a moment. You can be on your knees or your toes, but hips are in line with your shoulders. They're not above, they've not dropped below. You have this long line of energy. Shift to the left, come down left forearm. Shift to the right, come down right forearm. Noticing if it's a forearm plank or if it's an elbow plank. If you're able to lift the forearm, you're in an elbow plank. Shift forward a little bit, forearm plank. If the knees need to come down for a moment, that's okay. One more breath, and then release all the way down. Elbows are gonna stay stacked underneath your shoulders. Grip your mat. Drag yourself forward, Sphinx pose. Really opening up the heart. Feeling expansion in the low back, in the front of the chest. Then tuck your toes. You're gonna press into those forearms, come back up, forearm plank, and lift the hips up and back, walking your feet in, coming into dolphin. Now, if this feels a little bit too uncomfortable, you're always welcome to come back down to the knees, come back up to the palms, and then go back to your down dog. But with dolphin, you might have to walk the feet in. Again, is it dolphin or is it an elbow thing? So make sure the forearm is down. One more breath, and then exhale. Knees are gonna come back down to the mat. We're gonna press back, child's pose, toes touching, knees apart, and reach your hands back behind you. Maybe you clasp the fingers behind your hips. Taking some movement through the shoulders. You might keep the fist at your hips, or you can reach the fist up above or in front of you. Fist comes back down towards your hips. Hands reach back up in front of you. Inhale, come up, tabletop. Knees come in. Curl your toes, hips up and back, down dog. Really building up some heat here. If you can see it, my feet are nice and shiny. That tends to be where my heat goes, into my palms, into my feet. Lift your right leg, three-legged dog. Paying attention to what's going on in the right hip today. Is it pointing over to the right? Can you roll it down? Bend your right knee. Come up on your left toes. Step or walk your right foot through between your hands. Before the hands come off the mat, inner thighs squeeze them together. Core pulls in. Take your time. Come up. High lunge. Woo. It's okay if it's a little wonky at times. Keep squeezing inner thighs together. Core is pulling in. Then exhale, hands are gonna come down through heart center. Inhale, lengthen the spine, keep that length. Exhale, bow. You're gonna feel this really engaged in the right glute. You can change the position. Maybe you come up a little bit higher, maybe you come a little bit lower, it's up to you. And then option again to find a twist with your exhale, left elbows working towards your right knee. Squeeze your inner thighs together. But again, can you find that twist at the very base of the spine? Squeeze the inner thighs together, squeeze them, squeeze them, squeeze them. If you fall out, it's okay, come back. Inhale, back to center. Make your way back up, high lunge. Transfer your weight to your right foot. Left foot's gonna walk or lift up. Single leg Tadasana. Grounding down all 5 toes of the foot, all 4 corners. So if you're rocking to one side or the other, can you ground down all 4 corners? I'm gonna turn it around here to the front. Dun, 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 dun. On your exhale, hands are gonna come down through heart center. You're gonna open your left knee, your left hip. We're gonna set up for tree. Toe can be on the floor. It can be below the knee. You can lift the foot above the knee, but find your spot that's not gonna move. And once you're there, really grow through your tree. Find some growth. Even in this struggle, even in tough times, if you fall out, that's okay. Coming back again. Grow your tree, and then find some stillness. Sometimes I give an option to move, but I feel like this is a time we need to be a little bit still. One more breath. And then left knee is gonna come back in line with your hip, and release, left foot down. Beautiful, take some movement through the hips if they're a little bit talkative. We're gonna move through the other side. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down, deep bend in your knees. Plant your hands, step your feet back, top of your plank. Knees or toes, your choice. Lower down, 3 push-ups, chaturanga, or skip it. Go to down dog or child's pose, so it's up to you. We're gonna meet back together. in down dog. This time pressing so hard with the right palm that the left hand has room to begin to move. Maybe it just comes back a little bit, that's okay. Walking the fingers back, finding your connection. With your exhale, twisted down dog, looking underneath the right armpit. Keep breathing. Smell that deep scent of the right armpit. And release. Left foot palm's going to come back to its place. Inhale, shift forward, top of your plank again. Shoulders over your wrist. You're going to shift to the right, come down right forearm. Shift to the left, come down left forearm. Check again. Are you an elbow plank or forearm plank? Knees can come down. Core is still pulling in. Hips in line with your shoulders. And release, belly. Hips come all the way down. Release the toes. Grip the mat. Lengthen. Draw yourself forward. Sphinx. Keep breathing to hold the breath. Can you get the shoulders rolling back just a little bit deeper, opening the heart? Then tucking the toes, coming back to the knees or to your forearm plank. Lift your hips up and back. Walk your feet in, dolphin. Really feeling engagement through the shoulders. And exhale, knees come back down. We're coming back up to the palms. Take any wiggles you need to, shake it all out. Maybe you roll the wrists or the fingers. And then with your next exhale, hips up and back, down dog. We're moving through the other side. Left leg lifts. Left hip pointing down towards the mat. Use the inner thigh to really dial the hip down. Bend your left knee, come up on your right toes. Step or walk your left foot through between your hands. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Core pulls in. Inhale, come up, high lunge, other side. One more breath here. And then exhale, hands down through heart center. Inhale, lengthen through the torso just a little bit more. Exhale, bow. Belly button's pulling in, really feeling the left glute working. Inner thighs are squeezing to keep that balance. We're taking that twisted high lunge with your exhale, right elbow towards your left knee. It might be different on this side. If you wobble and fall out, it's not, oh my gosh, what did I do? Come back and just kind of reassess. Might just be a wobbly day. Back to center. Inhale, come back up, high lunge. Transfer the weight to the left foot. Right foot walks or lifts up. Single leg Tadasana. I'm going to hop it front again. Find your spot. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Right knee, right hip opens. Different hip, different side. Toe on the floor, below, above the knee. Find your stillness after you grow your tree. Core is pulling in. One more breath. And then right knee comes back in line with your right hip and release, right foot down. Take some movement, take some wiggles. You guys are doing amazing. I know we're building some heat here. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down, deep bend in your knees, plant your hands, step your feet back, top of your plank, knees or toes. Find a flow or skip it, it's up to you. Lift your right leg again, three-legged dog, but this time we're going to find our hip opener. So we began in down dog, lift your right leg, three-legged dog, and then bend your right knee and reach your right foot back to the left. As you do that, is your right armpit going along for the ride? So it's not an entire body twist. It's just a twist from the hip this time. So if you need to, right armpit comes back down. Take some movement here. Draw a big circle with the kneecap. Move the hip around in the joint. Reverse your direction. And then depending on how open the hip is, if you can look underneath your left armpit and see your right toes, you can try for this next option. If not, you can hang out here, hip opener, or go back to your down dog. You're going to begin to soften the left knee, come up on the left toes as your right foot reaches back behind you. We're flipping the dog, opening it up to wild thing. We're going to take this big heart opener. Left foot's going to walk back down. I'm going to stay up on the right toes. Reach the hips, reach the heart up.
Right hand can reach up, it can reach behind you, but really feeling the strength of the left core side, the left arm, the heart's opening and lifting. And then with just as much control, bring the left foot back in, press into the left foot, left palm, right leg is gonna lift, three-legged dog. Then the right knee, come up on the left toes, step or walk the right foot through between the hands. Left heel is gonna come down, left toes are gonna turn out. We're setting up warrior two. I'm gonna flip it around here so I don't give you guys a big butt shot here. Then inhale, come up, find your warrior two. You're active through the crown of your head all the way down. So the arms aren't just kind of spaghetti noodles here. Activate the arms, shoulders up, back, and down. Core is in, hips are down. So we're not sticking out the tailbone. And then grip the mat with both feet. You're not rocking in or out on either edge of the foot. All four corners of both feet are there. Pull the mat together. Work the right kneecap towards the right pinky toe. Whew. I don't call it warrior two for nothing, people. Then you're gonna tug forward from the waist. Right elbow's gonna come to the knee. Left arm's gonna lift, side angle. On your exhale, left arm's gonna reach all the way overhead. So you're making this big, long line of energy all the way from the heel up the left-hand side. Just stretching. So think of it more of a stretch than making it a little bit bigger. Bowing. Keep the right knee where it is. It's gonna wanna wobble in. Inhale, come up, drop your left, reach back with your right, reverse your warrior. One more time, exhale, extended. Inhale, come up, reverse. And then back to your warrior two. You can kind of see there, if you were looking at my right knee, it kind of went in for a little bit. You had to press it back open. Then I'm gonna turn my right toes in and reach up. I'm flying things up, find some extension. And then on my exhale, all the way down, bowing from the waist, wide-legged forward fold. Hands can come to the floor. They can come to your ankles, to your shins, to your toes. If you have really long legs, it might feel good to walk those feet apart a little bit. And then just like you're standing forward fold, belly button pulls in, core is engaged, head reaches straight down. You might stay on the palms, you might come to the forearms. But really taking a deep stretch, inner thighs. In. And then an option for a little twist here. Right palm's gonna press down into the mat. Left arm's gonna lift, little twist. You're gonna feel this more in the right hip flexor. It has to lengthen to allow for the twist. One breath here. And exhale, left palm comes back down. Soften the knees, core pulls in, hands come to the hips. Inhale, come back up, reverse. Right toes turn back out. Warrior two. I don't know, sometimes I feel like I need to make sound effects. On your exhale, you're gonna windmill your hands down, frame your right foot. So I'm gonna spin it back around. If you take plank from your knee, left knee comes down. You're gonna control your right knee or right toe back to your plank and then decide, fresh eyes, how is the body feeling? Take a flow, skip it, doesn't matter. We're meeting back together in down dog. Other side, lift your left leg, three-legged dog. Bend your left knee, reach your left foot back to the right. So we're finding our hip opener again on this side. Remember, left armpit is down, it's not rolling open. Take some motion with the knee, move the hip around in the joint, reverse the direction. If you can look underneath your right armpit and see that left foot beginning to come up on the right toes, letting them spin, flip your dog, wild thing other side. You can always say no. Instead of it being a source of disappointment, make it a source of strength that you're saying no to something that you're not ready for or you're just not comfortable with. That's okay too. Right toes come back, press into the foot to the right palm, left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Bend your left knee, come up on your right toes, step or walk your left foot through between your hands or right heel down, right toes out. Don't have to spin around this time. Inhale, come up, Warrior two. Activate the feet, pull the mat together, left knees working towards the left pinky toe, shoulders up, back, and down. Activate those arms. Stretch, stretch, stretch. You've got it. Then tugging forward, left elbow comes to your knee, right arm lifts, side angle. Exhale, overhead at an angle, long line of energy. So it's not just an inactive reach, but stretch and give the right side body a stretch. Left knee stays where it is. Inhale, come up, reverse your warrior. One more time, extended. Inhale, come up, reverse. Back to warrior two. Left toes turn in, fly it up. And exhale all the way down, back to your wide-legged forward fold. Your choice. Palms, forearms, toes, ankles, so many different things. And this time finding a little twist other side. Left palm's gonna plant down into the mat. Inhale, right arm lifts. Send your breath into the left hip. Give it a little bit of extra love, a little extra length. And exhale, right palm comes back down. Soften the knees. Core pulls in, hands come to the hips. Inhale, come up, reverse. And left toes turn back out. Warrior two. Windmill the hands down. Frame the left foot. Spin on the right toes. Control your left knee or left toe back to your plank. Find your flow or say no. I'm gonna take a little break here. I'm saying no this time. Child's pose. Oh my gosh. Whew. Sometimes I feel like we need to have a place anywhere we go that's like child's pose. You can do it here. Perfectly acceptable. Wherever you're at. One more breath here. And then making your way back, we're coming back to down dog. Deep bend in your knees, look between your hands, step, hop, or float your feet to the top of your mat. Exhale, reach down through your crown. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down, belly button to spine, pull it in. Inhale, come up, reverse. And exhale, hands down through heart center. Beautiful. Step your feet apart. Ankles are gonna align underneath your hips. So toes, ankles, hips are all on the same line. Don't worry about the knees. Everybody's knees are different. Sometimes they're pointing in, sometimes they're pointing out, sometimes they're straight, and that's okay. Just wherever you're at. Hands are gonna begin at heart center. Shift your weight back to your heels. Have a seat, tailbone back, core in, tailbone down. This is one thing that those that have the tendency to really stick the tailbone out, you really have to pay attention to draw the hips down, lengthen through the low back. That's gonna take so much pressure off of the low back. You've got it. One more breath here. On our inhale, we're gonna shift our weight to the left foot, right leg's gonna lift, arms are gonna reach up overhead. Single leg Tadasana. And then we're setting up for another twist here, eagle. Right leg's gonna cross over top of the left, and the right arm goes underneath. So right leg over top, right arm underneath. Find your bind, your touch. Maybe you just give yourself a little hug. Need a little extra little hug today. And then sit straight down. Squeeze those inner thighs together. So you're not bowing forward. You're sitting down just like in your chair. Right toes can stay kickstanded. You can wrap them behind you. Core in, shoulders back. If you need to touch down with the toes, that's okay. One more breath here. And then you're gonna keep the arms, whether they're bound up eagle arms or you're giving yourself a hug. Inhale, come back up, right leg's gonna lift. Single leg Tadasana with eagle arms. And then on your exhale, right foot's gonna reach back behind you and touch down. Find your length. We're finding warrior three with eagle arms. What? Lengthen, 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 lengthen. And then beginning to bow from the waist, if you would like to, but finding extension. Right foot's reaching back behind you, reaching forward through the crown. If you fall out, that's okay. Keep breathing, keep reaching. Inhale, come back up. Untwist those arms and release right foot down. Oh my goodness. You guys are absolutely amazing. You're gonna shift the weight this time to the right foot.
but noticing if as you shift the weight, does the right hip pop out too? So you're just shifting the weight, not popping out the hip. Left leg's gonna lift, beginning hand to knee. Left hand's gonna come to your hip. Inhale, lengthen through the torso, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. If you'd like to, fingers to toe, hand to toe, kick it out. If it slips out because it's so sweaty, that's okay. You can probably see my foot all sweaty here. If the core or the spine goes with the leg, you need to come back to hand to knee. With your exhale, option for twisted standing hand to knee, that's a mouthful. Left hand's gonna float behind you, torso's going to the left. So the twist is coming through the belly. Left hand comes back to the hip as you come back to center. Left knee bends and release. So even with the release, we're looking for that little bit extra of control. Good, you guys have got it. Inhale, lengthen arms, reach up overhead. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down, deep bend in your knees, plant your hands, step your feet back, top of your plank, knees or toes. Flow or no flow, go. Dr. Seuss with Stephanie. Cheesy jokes, it's part of it, guys. We're meeting together in down dog. Deep bend in your knees, look between your hands. Make your way to the top of your mat. Exhale, reach down through your spine. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down, belly button to spine. Inhale, reverse, come all the way up. And exhale, hands down through heart center. We're going back to that chair. Feet come apart, ankles underneath hips, weight in the heels. Have a seat, tailbone back, tailbone down. This time, if you'd like to change the hands, they can reach out in front of you. They can reach up above you. But keeping your gaze in line with your spine, they don't go with your hands. Those are a separate entity here. You can wiggle your toes, make sure the weight is still in the heels. Feel the engagement, core and glutes, keep breathing. On your inhale, you're shifting the weight to the right foot. Left leg's gonna lift, single leg Tadasana. And then we're setting up eagle other side, left thigh on top, left arm underneath. Find your bind, give yourself a little hug, and then have a seat straight down. Toe can stay kickstanded. You can wrap it behind you. Sorry, my producer's giving me notes here. Pull in, shoulders back. Just do what you can do. That's okay. You've got it. On your next inhale, unwrap that left leg, left foot lifts, and left foot reaches back behind you. We're setting up warrior three with those eagle arms. We're really finding these twists and activating that system today. Beginning to bow from the waist or just find your extension. Left toes can stay down. This can be your warrior three with eagle arms. Wherever you're comfortable. But reaching in opposite directions. Stretch, 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 stretch. Woo! Wobbly side. One more, you got it. Then inhale, come back up, arms reach up overhead. And exhale, left foot down. Other side, transfer the weight to the left foot. Right knee's gonna lift. Left hand to knee, right hand to hip. You can stop there. Be like, that's where I'm going. Or you can even be here. That's okay too. It's still hand to knee. Maybe it's hand to toe. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's twisted hand to knee or toe. On your exhale, right arm reaches back behind you. Twisted, torso's twisting over to the right. Right hand comes back, torso comes back. Bend the knee, and with control, right foot steps back down. Ooh, take some movement. Wiggle there if that feels good. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, swan dive. We're gonna hang out here for a moment. Soften the knees if you need to, widen the stance. And then you're gonna plant your left palm down either to the mat, maybe it just goes to your ankle, maybe it just comes to your shin, it's up to you. Bend your left knee, right knee's gonna stay straight. On your inhale, right arm's gonna reach up, twisted standing forward fold. So you're not only massaging out all these
organs inside, but you're sending a big stretch up the right side of the leg. And exhale, right palm comes down. Other side, right palm to mat, ankle, shin, wherever you'd like. Bend the right knee, left knee straightens. Inhale, left arm lifts. Twisted, standing forward fold, other side. And release, left palm comes back down. Inhale, halfway lift. Even out those hips. Exhale, reach back down. Deep bend in your knees, plant your hands. Step your knees back to your tabletop. We're gonna find another round of cat and cow again here. Inhale, drop your core, lift your hips, lift the crown of your head. Exhale, spine to ceiling. Finding just a little bit more motion here. Then coming back to your neutral spine, tuck your toes, lift your hips, up and back, down dog. Settle in for a moment. This is a resting pose, coming back to the breath. Noticing how you're feeling here. Right leg's gonna lift. Bend your right knee, come up on your left toes, step or walk your right foot through between your hands, left heel down, left toes out. We're coming up warrior two, but then you're gonna straighten your right knee, tug forward from the waist, and keeping your left shoulder stacked on top of the right, spinning those hands down, finding your triangle. I'm gonna flip it around here again so I don't give another little butt shot. Notice how I can't reach quite all the way to the floor, and that's okay, that's not the goal. This hip for me is a little bit different. So instead of forcing it down, because if I force it down, my left shoulder begins to turn in. I can't keep that rotation open here in my left hip. So find some length coming back up. Wherever you have to stop. This can be triangle. This can be triangle. This can be triangle. This is not triangle. So listening to what's going on in your body. Beautiful. Inhale, come back up. And then we're gonna switch sides. Right toes in, left toes out, warrior two, other side. Then straighten your left knee, tug front, right shoulder stays stacked on top of left. Spin those hands down. Now on this side, I have no problem here because I can find the twist of my torso. My hip opens up this way on this side. But if that right shoulder began to come down, I'm gonna come back up, open back up, find that twist, and then find my edge. You guys have got it. You're becoming so aware about your bodies, how you're feeling. It can be a double-edged sword though. Evie, my daughter, now likes to tell me, Mom, my emotions, this is just where I'm at right now. I'm like, yes, that's great. You've realized that. Next step is then we learn to start taking control of those emotions. Oh my gosh, whole other thing. Okay, done talking. Inhale, come back up. Bend your left knee. Windmill those hands down. And bring your left knee back, right knee back. We're back to our tabletop here. Pressing down into the mat, get those shoulders back so they're not up by the ears, core is pulling in. And then reach your right foot back behind you. We're finding a little bit of traction here. You can stop there. The left arm can reach out. You're splitting your body straight down the center, so your right side body is going back and your left side body is going forward. So you're just stretching, stretching, stretching. The hips don't have to stay parallel. The right hip's reaching back a little bit further, finding that stretch. One more breath here. And release, left palm down, right knee down, other side. Find your engagement first. Don't let those shoulders come up. Left foot reaches back behind you. You can stop there. Maybe your right arm reaches out. Maybe it has to reach out and you're just touching down. That's okay too. Stretch opposite sides. Left side body back, right side body forward. And right hand down, left knee down. You're gonna walk your hands back to your knees as you're having a seat on your ankles. If this is a little talkative point here and this is not comfortable, you can put a pillow here, you can say no, whatever you need to do, but we're taking a kind of flowing modified camel. Right arm's gonna reach back behind you. On your inhale, hips are gonna reach forward as your left arm reaches up.
So if you'd like to, then from there you can begin to walk the hand in. It's up to you, depending on your body, of how long your legs are or short your legs are. Exhale, have a seat. Other side, left hand behind. Inhale, right arm up, hips forward. You can do that one more time, going from side to side. Or if you'd like to, going for full camel. Hands are coming to your low back as you're coming to standing on your knees. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hips reach forward. And then grabbing for the outside, thumbs to the outside of your heels. To come back up, hands come to your small back. Coming back up, and palms come down. You're coming back to your table. And then you're going to step your right foot up to the outside of both your hands. Instead of lunging forward, stack your right knee over your ankle. That's where it's going to stay. And then beginning to walk your left knee, left toes back. Squeezing your thighs together just a little bit to keep the right knee from rocking to the side. If it really wants to rock to the side, you can widen your stance. You can turn the toes out, but making sure that the connection is down all four corners instead of rocking to one side of the foot. Because we want to get the hip flexors stretching front and back. This might be where you're holding some of your anxiety or nerves right now, is in the hips. Everybody holds at different places. So we want to release through there. You can stay on the palms. You can come down to a pillow or blocks if you own some. You can come down to the forearms. But again, noticing every hip is different. If you can do it on one side, it doesn't necessarily mean that the other hip can do it. Like I said, I got uneven hips. I can do this on one side, not quite on the other side. One more breath here. You're going to come back up to the palms. And then toe heel your right foot over to the left. We're setting up for seated pigeon. You either love this shape or you hate it. If you love it, really paying attention to where your edge is. You can put a block or a pillow underneath the right glute if you're rocking to the right. Maybe you begin to walk the right shin forward. If you're just like, nope, don't like this position. This is just not for my body. You can take it on its back. You're going to take it all the way down to your back and cross your right ankle over your left knee. And then press your knee away. That's going to open the hip the same way. So it's up to you what version of pigeon you are taking. And then beginning to settle in. Maybe you take a little bit of movement. And then notice what those left toes are doing. Are they turning in? Are they turning out? Can you get them in line with the heel? Inhale, lengthen. Open the heart. Keep the heart forward. As you continue to reach the heart forward, melting down. Maybe you come down forearms, two fists, palms out. Just noticing how your body is feeling. Just what movement and working out can do to kind of shake off or release some of the excess nerves, some of the excess anxiety, even the strength that it can bring to your mental state to say no to things. If you keep practicing with me, you might come across one of my flows. It's a really challenging flow, not from the aspect of all the poses are hard, but I try to put a full gamut in there to make everybody say no to something. Because that's a hard thing for us to do. We don't like to be told no ourselves. So saying no in our own world is hard. One more breath here in your pigeon. And then you're going to make your way back up to your table if you're on your back, or the hands are going to come back underneath your shoulders. Tuck your left toes, press into your left toes and your palms, making room for your right knee to come back and the left knee to come down. So you're back to your tabletop. We're going to do the other side. Left foot steps to the outside, stacking left knee over left ankle. Walk your right knee, right toes back. Different hip, different side. If you need to widen your stance, turn the toes out, stay on the palms, come down forearm. See, I'm A little wonky on this side. I can't quite go down quite as far on this hip. So listening to your body. Oh my gosh, I feel like that's the hardest thing in yoga. It's not so much the poses. It's just listening and finding that edge and saying no. Yoga's not pretty. It's not Instagrammy. To get that one pretty shot, we have tried like 10 million times, and half of them we fell out of. Landed on our face. Got mud all over us. It's a dirty game. But all the time becoming a little bit more self-aware. And then if you've come down to forearms or a little bit lower than the palms, come back up to the palms. Toe heeling your left foot over to the right. We're setting up seated pigeon on the other side. Or you can flip it to your back, left ankle over your right knee. Finding your edge on this side. Maybe you walk the left shin forward, maybe you don't, maybe you walk it back. Both hips are square, right toes in line with your ankle so they're not turned in and out. Then inhale, lift your heart, keep it lifted even as you come down. Keep this openness in the heart and the chest, coming down, forearms to fists, palms out. I'm gonna let you rest this time. I won't talk. I know I can get very talkative sometimes, and that's okay. I know that about myself. I'm learning when to talk and when to not. One more breath here. You're going to come back up to the palms. If you're on your back, we'll meet you there in just a little bit. Otherwise, rocking to your left hip. Right leg is going to come all the way out and around. And then if you're on your back, rolling onto one side or the other and coming back to this position, hands are going to come right by your hips. You're going to lift so far with the torso that the elbows straighten. So you're not pressing down into the mat. You're just lifting. Keeping this length in the torso, bend your elbows, lean back. You're in boat. There you are. Don't think you have to go any further to have boat. That's it. If you'd like to, maybe you test the waters. The feet can lift. But if you lose any integrity in the core, feet come back down, find that length. Maybe the hands float. Maybe they come behind the hamstrings or reach out. You can even straighten the knees. If at any point you lose that integrity, come back to something else. If you have really long legs, you're going to feel this in the hip flexors. One more breath. And then release. Come back down. Feet are going to come together. Knees apart. You're going to grab the front of your toes. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, reach the heart forward, stopping when you feel those inner thighs beginning to talk. One more breath here. Then bringing the torso back up, crossing the ankles, palms are going to come out in front of you, and you're going to have a seat again on the ankles. You can put a block or a pillow there again. We're going to build a little bit of fire here. So to begin that, we're going to start mentally. We're going to come into a fire mudra with the hands. So you're going to bring all of the fingers together. It's like you're holding this little power ball, this little fireball right there. And on your exhale, your belly button is going to pull into spine as you're expelling all of this air. So it's a little, I just snotted on myself there. I know that was gorgeous. But you're finding this little fire. So exhale, pull the belly button in. Inhale, puff it back out. Exhale, pull it in. Let it puff back out. We're going to speed that up. Beautiful. You've got it. And then you're going to bring those palms back out in front of you. Take any wiggles through the hips. And then crossing the ankles, feet are going to come out from underneath you. And lower yourself all the way down to your back.
We're setting up here for another heart opener, so walking the feet in, ankles underneath the knees, knees as wide as the hips. Gaze going to stay straight up to the ceiling, so making sure you're not crunching the neck, looking down to the knees or anything else. Hands coming right by your side. Keeping knees in line with hips. On your inhale, lift the hips, lift the core. Just noticing there how open the heart feels, just even here. If you'd like to, you can lift the heart, roll the shoulders underneath you to take it a little bit deeper. If you get there and you're like, nope, not for me, you can come back down, that's okay. One more breath here. And then rolling back down one. Knees are going to come over the belly. You're going to grab right below the kneecaps, rock side to side, massage out the low back. I'm going to move my pack so I can actually rock. Whoop. I pushed a button, Daniel. Are we okay on sound? Okay. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. And then keeping your right knee bent, you're going to exhale left leg long to the floor. Grab right below your right kneecap. Legs are just kind of dead weight. Belly's going to go soft, so don't pull it in. But on your exhale, you're going to pull your knee in with the belly soft. Left hand stays with your right knee. Right palm opens to the side. On your exhale, right knee is going to go to the left. Left hip walks underneath you to the right, so big belly twist. Grounding down through the shoulder. So if the shoulder starts to pop up, the right knee can come back up and ground the shoulder down. So you're finding that twist in the belly. You can keep looking to the ceiling. If you want to continue that twist up the spine, look over to the right hand. On your next inhale, right knee is going to come back over your hip. And exhale, right leg goes long, other side. Bend your left knee. Belly is soft. Grab right below the left kneecap. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, pull it in. Compress the left side belly. Right hand stays with your left knee. Left palm opens to the side. With your exhale, left knee goes to the right and the hip walks underneath you. Right hip to the left. So the reason I'm saying that is we want to keep this a belly twist and not a hip twist. We're lining up hips in line with the spine, and then the twist is happening in the belly. We're massaging out all of those organs. You can gaze to the ceiling. You can look to your left hand. Then on your next inhale, left knee is going to come over your hip. Right knee is going to come up to join it, and both feet are going to reach up towards the ceiling. So we're taking another little final inversion here. We're flipping everything on its head, kind of like our world right now. It's just kind of been flipped on its head. But it gives us a different perspective. You can stay here in waterfall if you'd like to. If you'd like to take another little compression through all of those organs. On your inhale, you're going to lift your hips up and back. Coming into plow pose. And then if you've taken that option, soften the knees, pull the belly button in, and roll back down one vertebrae at a time. And we're meeting back together in waterfall. Then bend your knees. Soles of the feet are going to come either down to the mat or they can reach out in front of you. If the low back is really talking to you, keep those knees bent, knees together, feet apart. Or you can bring the feet together, knees apart. Or just corpse pose. Bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart. And then you're going to close your eyes. And this is just a tiny physical thing, but it can be
a very intimate thing with yourself. It brings us grounded back into our bodies, because so many times we live out just in our minds. And when we ground ourselves back into our bodies, that can bring up a lot of emotions. And emotions are not a bad thing. Sometimes that's a way that we can cleanse, we can purge. So if things start to feel very intense, allow yourself to feel those emotions. If you need to cry, if you just need to sigh it out, whatever you need to do, or even if it's just way too intense, you can bring those hands away from your body. We're going to take 2 collective breaths together here. In through the nose, and let it go through the mouth. One more in through the nose, and out through the mouth. You can stay here for as long as you want. If you want to pause this video and then pick it up in a few seconds, that's okay. But if you're ready, just noticing first, have those nerves, has the body, your physical, emotional body, is it calmed down a little bit? If not, just noticing that too. And then beginning to deepen your inhale and exhale, finding some more motion in your fingers and toes. Releasing those hands back down by your sides. On your inhale, arms are going to reach up overhead above you. Big stretch apart. Hands come back down by your sides. You can bring those eyes fluttering open. Bend your knees and roll over onto one side or the other, pressing yourself back up to a seated position. Just noticing how you feel. Sealing in our time together. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. And exhale, hands down through heart center. I'm grateful for every single one of you. I want to give a special shout out to Cindy Kewen, Cindy Miller, Ruth Ann Richardson, Beth Wilson, and Mary Cleffett for joining me this evening. I am so grateful for every single one of you, but also grateful to yourselves for the things you're able to do for the strength of your yeses, for the things you're not able to do for the strength of your no's, or changing it up a little bit, doing a little bit different. Thank you so, so much for joining me this evening. Blessings and namaste.